This is John Malcolmson, Coordinator for the Center for Ecumenical and Interreligious Engagement at Seattle University. You are listening to the Art of Spiritual Direction workshop with Father Patrick Twohy, S.J., speaking about his work serving the Indigenous community as a spiritual companion and the wonder of friendship. I encourage you to take a listen.
I was around Native people some because we've been connected with the people since the 1840s, the Jesuits. And I like being on the res when I was scholastic and training. I loved riding horses and chewing tobacco, and it was great. And then I realized it's pretty raw existence also, the kids I was there with. But it just took one morning, I was sitting with Tom Connolly, who's been with the folks forever. I just suddenly blurted out, I want to go to the reservation. I was at Gonzaga U then. And I just realized the words went out of my mouth. And he said, "Are you out of your mind?" I said, "No, I want to go to the res. Where can I go?" He said, "This field on Colville Res. Nobody there. They'd like to have you. I'll go there." No big ideas, even though it was the time of a Rupe and all the reaching to the margin. I don't have any of that. I just wanted to go there and learn. And when I got there and I walked in within 15 minutes into a funeral for a young boy who was beat to death, I didn't know anything. And I asked one of the grandmas, "I don't know how to do this." And she said, "Well, just listen to me. I'll tell you everything, tell you what to do." I've been listening now for 50 years. And the grandmas still scold me, talk to me, although I'm getting so damn old that I'm older than they are a lot of times. It feels pretty uncomfortable, but I still take orders. So I got it. All I can say it was a grace. And when I hit the res, it was great, wild and crazy. And I was wild and crazy. I've had this privilege to be with the folks that I love for 50 years. And so it's more appreciated as time goes on. A little girl asked me when I first started, "Are you going to stay with us?" She was like my own daughter. We've been through lots of family trouble there. And I loved her. I said, "I'm going to stay. How long?" "I'd like to stay my whole life. I mean, if they'll let me, if they don't throw me out." So I've just been lucky to do that. It's a long road. I guess that's what I've noticed most of all. It takes time. It just takes time to build what we talk about as encounters that have depth. It takes years and years and years. And people who hated me love me 9 years later. It goes on and on. But now I'm at about 3 or 4 generations. So when I'm talking to young ones, I know their parents, their grandparents, their great-grandparents. And that's an immense privilege to know what they come from. I believe the most important thing is to hope to stick together and ask for the gift of just being there with them always, and hopefully belonging somehow. As a non-Indian, I asked myself early, can a person like me get close to the folks after the history we've gone through? The question was answered over many years. Yes, like brothers, like sisters, like family. And that's just because the people, they size you up, they try to get a reading on you, what your life is about, who you are, how you act. And eventually they start letting you in to the families. Grandma calls the shots. If grandma doesn't like you, you might as well leave town. So it's a process. And I've been very fortunate that they have accepted someone like me. I asked one of my friends once, Johnny Arlene from Montana, my best friend, one of them. I said, "I don't know how the people can put up with me all these years. I thought I'd really like to be a good priest, and I failed in every way." And he said, well, I don't know who in the hell you think we're supposed to be, but we sort of like you with all of your faults and failures. It's you that we love. But that's been very hard for me to realize because I always thought I should be more for them. But I think the big thing is if you're lucky, if we could stay together and to be related in a good way with them and with their lives, their spiritual world, can lead to a friendship. Ray Williams, my best friend, first thing he asked me is, what the hell are you doing here? When I showed up in Swinomish on the coast. And I said, beats the hell out of me. And we both meant what we said. Well, after all these years, we have a love. So these kind of friendships are so profound. And he's smokehouse, Siawan, Skalalitud, way of life. I'm a Catholic. It's okay. We find each other and we decided to do the long walk together, do the long walk, which goes into the next world. You know, my time's coming up one of these days, and I get to go and be with generations of folks that I've done their funerals. I've been with them. So there's something about the depth of friendship, and I believe only then do spiritual worlds open with one another. The trust has to be so deep on both sides. But once it's there, then we reveal our spiritual life to each other, how we see the cosmos, how we are to walk here. And I learn all the time. I could tell you a good story. Ray told me once, he said, you Jesuits, he knows other was true. I said, you love Jesus a lot. He said, I follow the Spirit. But you know, I'm going to try to understand Jesus better because you love him and I love you. It's that kind of thing which is beyond riches. It's the kingdom of heaven to me. Well, Jesus taught that. This circle of friendship that widens and deepens and deepens and widens is what he wanted. And it reaches far beyond church walls and it's longhouse walls, any walls. We find each other and we find each other forever. So it's most beautiful to be given this. I'm not worthy at all, but I feel so blessed to have been allowed to be in friendship with the folks on both sides of the mountains. I do believe it's taught me everything I ever hoped for, how to be in the world, how to be in the world in a good manner. It's beautiful. I'm so grateful. I would like to treat others as I've been treated with utmost respect and patience. My grandma once told me early on, if you ever grow up, you're going to be a good man. And she knew I was drinking with her son in those days, so that didn't go over good. But I've tried to grow up. And I think the main thing is the wonder of friendship, the wonder of it, and the depth of it, and this receiving of one another into our hearts. And from then, the words can be helpful, or the thoughts can be helpful. I think anybody that I've walked with, we do it. Well, we do it anywhere. All of a sudden, hearts reveal each other to each other. It's an equality of love and respect. It has to be total equality, even love and respect. It has to be honest. I think those are the main things.
Thank you for listening to the Art of Spiritual Direction workshop with Father Patrick Twohy, SJ, speaking about his work serving the Indigenous community as a spiritual companion for the Center for Ecumenical and Interreligious Engagement at Seattle University. Visit us and engage more content at seattleu.edu/thecenter.